Tonight, I want to talk about the movie Four Brothers. For this, we must travel back to 2005. This year saw a lot of different genres breaking out into the box office. Batman Begins came out this year, as did Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, The Longest Yard, Brokeback Mountain, Sin City, V for Vendetta, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Constantine, and many more. My point is, it was a very eclectic year for movies. Four Brothers, on the surface, is your standard revenge action movie. Mark Wahlberg plays Bobby Mercer, leader of the Mercer brothers, played by Tyrese, Andre 3000, and Garrett Hedlund. They all come back to Detroit when they find out their mother, who adopted all of them out of the foster system, has been shot in a convenience store robbery. Not all is as it seems when they start putting the pieces together, and they have to deal with dirty cops, gangsters, and the suspicions of each other. Normally, this would just be another generic action movie, but this one carries a lot of heart with it. It's a remake / modern retelling of The Sons of Katie Elder, the 1965 Western starring John Wayne and Dean Martin. John Singleton directed Four Brothers, and it has his fingerprints all over it. The part he especially gets right is the brotherhood that they have, even after so much time has passed. Their chemistry sold it as well. They seemed like they knew each other their whole lives. Garrett Hedlund was the weak link in this one, but it seems he got better as his career progressed. I think this was only his third role since coming to Hollywood, so I'll give him some slack on that. This was only Andre 3000's second role, the first one being in the movie Be Cool, where it looked like he was just playing around. Not to say it was easy playing the part of Dabu in Be Cool, but this role looked like he would have to bring a lot more to it, and he was actually up to the challenge. Tyrese was really good in this movie. Normally, I get kind of tired of him because he seems to just be playing an over-the-top version of himself. I think it started in Too Fast, Too Furious, but he's much more subdued in this movie. The Tyrese character, mostly in the Fast and Furious movies, does come out at times, but it's in small doses and it really works. I credit a lot of that to Singleton for being able to rein him in. The weight of the movie was carried on Mark Wahlberg's shoulders, and he did not disappoint. He's one of those actors where if you like him, then you're probably going to like most of his movies. And I like him, so I like most of his movies. Of course, this one has more than just those four in it. Terrence Howard, Josh Charles, Sofia Vergara, Taraji P. Henson, and of course, Chiwetel Ejiofor. One of my only complaints of this movie is that I feel like Victor Sweet, played by Ejiofor, just didn't get punished enough for his role and everything. But when I think about it, it's also a little like real life. I don't think the bad guys ever truly suffer as much as they deserve. The movie does follow a kind of whodunit caper, and while we know ultimately who did it, the entertainment of this movie comes from our protagonists sleuthing it out. Overall, the movie's fun. Probably a lot more fun than it had any right to be. I credit that to John Singleton being able to tell the story that appeals to a broader audience. Not that his past movies, such as Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice, and Higher Learning, couldn't appeal to a broader audience. I feel like Shaft and Too Fast, Too Furious really helped him see the more commercial side of Hollywood, and maybe that's what ultimately kept him from making other movies. I'm not sure. He did one more, Abduction, with Taylor Lautner. It wasn't great, but it wasn't quit making films bad. I guess you have to pay the bills somehow, but he stuck to television after that, and really only a handful of episodes of different shows before his passing in 2019. He had criticized studios for what he quoted as refusing to let African Americans direct black-themed films. So maybe he was disillusioned with the industry. Maybe he thought he could maybe make more of a difference by getting shows made as a producer, or maybe it was a little bit of both. Four Brothers is probably the last one that anyone would truly remember as being directed by John Singleton, and I think it's a good one to end on. Shaft will always be near and dear to my heart since it's the first movie I remember seeing Jeffrey Wright in. When you pay attention, you also see the other powerhouses in that movie. Samuel L. Jackson, Vanessa Williams, Christian Bale, Jeffrey Wright, and Toni Collette. Another movie that was way better than anyone expected it to be. Getting back to Four Brothers, I think it's one of those movies that people remember having seen, but can't quite remember all of the details. They remember Mark Wahlberg, they remember some of the plot points, but can't piece together the movie. But if they were to watch it again, then it would all come flooding back and they'd say, yeah, it was pretty good. And what more could you ask for in a generic action movie? Some directors build their careers on movies like this. I'm looking at you, Michael Bay. And if by watching this movie you have an appetite for more John Singleton movies, then I say it did a pretty good job. Because he made some important movies and I think you should watch them. One of the best things you can do as a movie watcher is try to understand the main character. You try to empathize with what they're going through. Something that gets thrown around a lot is that white male critics can't understand characters that are not male and are not white. And so it's argued that they truly can't relate to the story. I disagree with that because I think a good story is relatable, no matter who the lead is. I think a lot of people can empathize and be sad for Cuba Gooding Jr. and Morris Chestnut in Boys in the Hood. We don't have to be from there or have that background to understand. That's what's great about these movies. They allow us to see other points of view and cultures and lives that we just never experienced. That's one of the things I love about movies. So if you're looking for a movie to watch and you're having trouble deciding, go ahead and put on Four Brothers. It's trending on Netflix as of this recording, so a lot of people decided to watch it. But I will leave you with this. If it wasn't for Pee-wee's Playhouse, Boys in the Hood might have never been made. John Singleton met Lawrence Fishburne while they both worked on the show. That's ultimately how he was cast in the movie. Fishburne was Cowboy Curtis. Singleton was a production assistant on the show. Once he was able to scrape the funding together to get the movie made, he went to bat for Fishburne to play the role of Trey's father. And the rest is history.